At the start of the year, I decided to begin my own ModPack inspired by actions and stuff. And I never even dreamt of it getting over 200,000 downloads. And for the video to receive so much love, and hey too, that's why I decided to come back with part 2. Believe it or not, this video turned out much bigger and better than the first part. Ever since Actions and Stuff Pack was out, many Java artists and developers began working and updating their projects to be much more fluid and animated, which allowed me to expand my ModPack and get it to where it is right now. I'm grateful to all of the people who enjoyed my pack fresh and smooth, and to the devs and artists who made it possible to begin with. Now let's dive into the video. At the start, I had to check a pack by Totem called 3D Armor Models. As the name implies, the layers of the vanilla armors turn 3D and look better. However, after inspecting the comments, I saw many people mentioning the armor Conglomery, a texture pack that gives each type of armor a unique model, with belts, medieval helmets, and other details. Armor Conglomery was certainly a noticeable improvement over 3D armors. However, a couple of days later, I discovered Drodi's Arsenal. And while I don't like weighing mods against each other, this one was better for the pack simply because the models of the armors here were quite similar to those of Actions and Stuff. I was especially fond of the leather armors, where it appears as if you are wearing the hide of a wild animal. The only suggestion I can give to Drodi would be to enhance the netherite armor. More details, particularly around the helmet and the shoulders, could do wonders. After Drodi's Arsenal, I still felt like there is something missing. And I remembered. No 3D layers were included. When all hope was lost, I found 3D Armors mod. This is a project that not only gave the vanilla armors a 3D look, but extended said look to armors from other texture packs. Currently, this mod is not entirely supportive of other packs. The helmets in particular break, so let me know if I should disable it by default. Elytra Contrails is next, and this was a texture pack which gave the Elytra on Minecraft Contrails. On the Actions and Stuff texture pack, similar contrails exist on the Elytras, so you could only imagine my excitement when I first stumbled across this pack. My only suggestion for the author of this pack would be to extend the contrails and give them a fade out animation. This will surely remaster the appearance. Particle interactions, on the other hand, wasn't meant to recreate Actions and Stuff in any way. It added different particles, a lot of events and activities within the game. The particles here were quite fluid and beautiful. They also remain true to the vanilla essence, and some even are similar to Actions and Stuff, like the railroads. This mod goes above and beyond in achieving the same purpose as Actions and Stuff, which is refreshing the vanilla game and making it feel a lot more satisfying and immersive to play. Bray's zombie overhaul gave us a leverage over Actions and Stuff once more, diversifying the models of the zombies based on the biome and the altitude they spawned in. You may find cowboy zombies in the Badlands, cave zombies deep in the ground, fungal zombies in the swamps, plus a few more variants to uncover. Actions and Stuff zombies are not diversified in any way. They are freshly animated of course, but their designs remain the same no matter the location and the conditions they were in. The only model exception were the mummy and the Bray name tags. Recently, 2 options arose that made me consider a player animation change on Fresh and Smooth, those being Joyful Motion and Silly Moves. In terms of the fluidity and the resemblance of Actions and Stuff, Silly Moves is clearly the winner, but when it comes to coverage, Joyful Motion is clearly the pack to go. Both featured unprecedented features. Silly Moves, for instance, have a special animation to when your health is very low, as the player will be holding their arm and their bodies will be hunched forward as they walk. Joyful Motion has a diving animation, along with smooth swimming animations too. Both would bring our pack very close to perfection. So, which one should we choose? Man, please, don't ask me because I'm just as torn apart as you are, friend. To enjoy Fresh and Smooth ModPack with friends, all you will need is a plain old vanilla server with the ModPack's version. Very cheap and very smooth. So, let's make it even cheaper and smoother with a 30% discount and top tier components over a Pine hosting. To get the discount, you just use my code ENDER, and to get everything else, you simply create the server. However cheap your plan is, you still get the latest Ryzen CPUs, super fast DDR5 RAMs, and swift SSD storages. Basically a server that will never give you trouble. Should trouble arrive anyways, the support team will stand by and deeply analyze the issue. Thanks to Pineholsen for sponsoring this video. It truly helps support the Enderverse channel and allows me to allocate 100% of my time to modding. Truly appreciate it. And now let's go back to the video. I see my armored hand allows us to see the 3D aesthetic armor sets we have on first person view too. This mod animates the items on your inventory. Now they will scale up each time you grab them with your mouse. Actually, 3D stuff overhauls the models of some items and tools on the game, giving them a beautiful 3D outlook. These tools and items are supportive of Hold My Items mod, matching the animations in set project and looking fabulous together. All's 3D Potions is a texture pack that enhances the models of potions, splash potions, lingering potions, and even battle experience and Omni's bottle. The author here didn't stop at the models. They also walked towards animating the drinking as well. When you slurp down a potion, you will notice the lid removed and the content drained as you drink it. Fresh food isn't so different either. It did pretty much the same thing, only for the foods. Now you'll be consuming finely modeled foods with gratifying eating animations as well. In comparison to actions and stuff, they are practically the same in terms of the animations. I would only suggest for the fresh food team to make the eating animation more apparent. Right now it's small and dragged all the way down, opposite to actions and stuff where it was on full display. Lively Turtle Helmet is a texture pack that animates the turtle helmets on Minecraft. This helmet will now be an actual turtle that moves according to your body and health points, as it will squash and shake if you are jumping around, along with shrinking back to its shell when your health is very low. On actions and stuff, there's a precisely similar animation. Between the two, it's really hard to choose which one is better. This mod adds different new particles based on what kind of effects you're on. Actions and stuff has no such particles, which puts us a step further. Visual Effects Plus is a texture pack that improves the game's VFX tremendously. From realistic fog everywhere, to butterflies in flowery forests, fireflies in the swamps, snowstorms in the Soul Sand Valley, and even scary eyes on the Pale Garden. Thunder and Rain has also been overhauled, featuring subtler rain and wind particles. Furthermore, there are explosion animations, glowing effects for torches of all kinds, along with sun and moon rays. Realistic Biome has done a terrific job enlivening the world and setting the foundation for actions and stuff. Visual effects here will serve as its Java counterpart. Benigamer's enhanced visuals is quite similar, where they add in unique particles for Enderman and the End Dimension, along with water animations including rain droplets and splashing particles. The pack goes on to enhance the weather conditions in the game, along with beautifying biomes like the lush caves with special folk colors and effects. I had to go with the Visual Effects Plus instead of this pack, reason being the amount of content on the former, but this texture pack remains viable nonetheless. Light Leak is a texture pack that adds a vanilla-friendly bloom effect to a variety of light sources on the game. This pack started out covering only the torches and lanterns, but as of late, Light Leak began covering the nether portals, jack-o'-lanterns, sea lanterns, furnaces of all kinds, fires, redstone lamps, and lava lakes. I could not keep this pack on fresh and smooth, mainly due to the retexturing of some of the blocks. I wish the author would provide us with a version featuring only the glow effects. I would definitely add it then. The Enchantment Glint Mod will give enchanted tools and weapons a beautiful glint. The special thing about this mod is that it adapts to any texture pack you put on, which made me choose it over many Enchantment Glint packs that only support the vanilla tools. You can also configure lots of things about those outlines, be it their opacity, color, and whatnot. However, there is an issue with the 3D tridents. They look outlined when dropped, but not when handled. I wish the author would add support for the Better Tridents pack. Beautiful Totem of Undying is a texture pack that improves set items and makes them look quite similar to their actions and stuff counterpart. This pack even improved their 2D sprites as well, making them look distinguishable both on your hands and in the inventory. The first upgrade of Fresh and Smooth was in terms of the textures. The pack started out using Cockwood, but then that texture stopped updating for a very long time, so I decided to move on to Spectral. Spectral is a vanilla-friendly pack with aesthetic textures and connected layers. Things were good for a while, but I saw many people complaining that they always had to remove it when they first installed the pack, which led me to my third alternative, Zali's Enhanced Vanilla. Zali's Enhanced Vanilla was the sweet spot, barely noticeable, but highly effective, with it featuring unique things like freshwater cat tiles, connected textures, flowering cactus, amongst other things. Trouble began when this happened. Since the pack was meant for an older version, bugs, particularly in the snow leaves and grass, started appearing as the pack updated to newer versions, which led me to the final option, Respited. Respited featured a very subtle and beautiful art style, also one that is quite similar to that of Actions and Stuff. And unlike the past options, Respited was a very active project, receiving updates left and right, bugs being fixed, new blocks getting covered, and all textures getting remastered. It was simply meant for this mod pack, so I decided to stamp it as the final decision. This next texture pack enhances how all the flowers and plants look on your hand. Some will look like they are carried on baskets, saplings will have a base on soil beneath them, aquatic plants will have an aquarium base, plus many more examples to discover. On Actions and Stuff, we can observe the exact same models and animations too, which makes this project an immensely important addition to Fresh and Smooth mod pack. Better Fresher 3D Books is a project that will give us enchanted books with unique models based on their nature. Not only that, but some of the books have special animations too, and they will even appear closed if you hold them on your offhand. There are 3D models for the enchanted books on Actions and Stuff, but that's about it. All the books will have the same models, except for the book on Quail, which looked awesome to be fair. Windy adds special wind particles to the game. I love this mod since the wind animations were pixelated, making them very vanilla friendly, but also quite refreshing and beautiful. Fresh Music Discs is a texture pack that will enhance those items, giving them a 3D model. With Hold My Items mod, we also get those smooth animations when we select them on the hotbar. This time we're not behind or beyond Actions and Stuff. The visuals there were identical, but both versions remain unique on their own way. 2D Projectiles adds a smooth rolling animation for the arrows as well as the fireworks. Their motion will now be adjacent to their speed, as they will spin faster if their velocity increases. I added this mod because there is in fact a similar animation present on Actions and Stuff. MC Alive is a texture pack that animates the leaves and the grass on Minecraft. The reason I removed these textures from the mod pack is due to it naturally not working with Respited textures, and also because some people reported feeling dizzy and motion sick when looking at it. Fresh Animations 1.10 was released just a couple of months ago. This update featured many improvements, but the most noticeable ones were the eye animations and the extra fluidity to the four-legged animals. This update also came in with support for new mobs. The axolotl and squids were freshly animated, as well as new variants for sheep, cows and chickens. The snow golem too was freshly animated, making this pack 88% finished. However, the base fresh animations wasn't the whole thing. There are a couple of add-ons that also got updated, of which I included Details Add-on, a pack enhancing mob details, most notably mounted chests on donkeys, mules and llamas, Minecraft Dungeons helmets to Illagers, different facial details to the villagers like mustaches and big eyebrows, horns to called variants of the sheep, plus more. The Objects add-on enhanced the animations of the boats and the rafts, the animations of opening all kinds of chests, the animations for the shulker boxes, and finally, the animations of the cards. The Emissive Add-on makes the eyes of some of the mobs glow, best examples being the bats, the ghasts, and the piglins. The Spiders add-on overhauls the appearance of these insects and makes them spookier with bitty bulbs, realistic limbs, and bigger heads. The animations have also been enhanced and differ based on the activity of the spider. On Actions and Stuff, the spiders look pretty ordinary. However, the cave spiders feature an awesome green eye emission that makes them look unique and indicate their poisonous nature. Quivers Add-on will give the spiders those arrow containers, helping to make the game a little more realistic and fresh. Just a quick notice, this pack does conflict with the Fresh Skeleton Physics, a project we added earlier on the pack. That's why it's not visible on Fresh and Smooth mod pack. I reckon fresher animations are more essential than fresher models. All's Creeper Overhaul is a pack that will give these mobs different variations based on the biome they are in. I picked these sexes in particular because of the charged creepers. They are indistinguishable from their Actions and Stuff counterpart, with vibrant colors, electrified bones, eyes and mouth, along with a perfect glint design. This add-on gives the creepers unique new variants like the Stony Creeper, the Muddy Creeper, the Skeleton Creeper, and a few more. Fresh Elix even went above and beyond, giving each new variant a special charged appearance. Detailed Armor Bar has nothing to do with animations. However, it gives the armor bar on Minecraft a better pixel art that is dependent on the armor worn. In addition to smooth animations, fresh visuals even on the level of the user interface can do wonders to the pack and will also put us ahead in the pursuit of better, fresher Minecraft. Chat animation is a mod that will animate the messages you send. They will now smoothly pop up as you click enter. Animated typing is a mod that will instead work on enhancing the animations of the typing, adding 5 different kinds of animations to choose from. Mining Quakes is a mod that will make the blocks shake and wiggle as you crack them. The intensity of this effect can be tweaked to the settings to be less or more apparent. Sadly, I had to remove this mod from the pack due to many complaints saying that it was unnecessary and annoying. But what do you think? Was it really unnecessary to have it on the pack? This mod is specialized in oiling the scrolling on Minecraft, increasing the smoothness of the animations through easing in and easing out the movement. Only recently, I made a beta version supporting the 1.2 and 1.6 update. While at it, I also added 3 new projects. First was Tears and Cheers, which is a texture pack that polishes the textures of the ghasts and the happy ghasts. They will now look distinctive and quite similar to their actions and staff counterpart. 3D Harness is exactly that, a texture pack that improves the harnesses by giving them a 3D appearance. It looks awesome, however I recommend for the author to give it interactive animations and different variations just like in actions and stuff. The final pack I added to the 1.1 and 1.6 release was the Story Mode Clouds. This texture pack gives the clouds a beautiful fade much like the game Minecraft Story Mode. It's a small feature but makes a huge difference, especially to an update that surrounds the sky. Another texture pack having to do with the skies is Chase the Skies. This pack will add a smoother color transition when the sun's about to set or rise. Classic Tools Fusion is a pack that enhances the shape of the tools and the weapons, all the while keeping them relatively closer to the base game. The pack also works well with our Enchantment Glint Mod, and is quite similar to actions and stuff as you can see on this clip. Atmospheric Skies and Fog was the pack that perfected the skies on our ModPack, as it added unique fog colors and sky colors based on the biome. With Visual Effects Plus, Story Mode Clouds, Chase the Skies, and other texture packs we added earlier, the horizons now look incredibly aesthetic without any shaders on. Smooth GUI is an animation mod that adds a smooth fading up animation that happens each time you open any container, work table, or personal inventory. Shaders have been a prominent part of my ModPack. Currently there are 7 shaders: Astral X, PSL Classic, Complementary Reimagined, Reaching in Voxels, Super Duper Vanilla Shaders, Silver Shaders, and the most interesting of all, Visual Vibrance. I configured all of these shaders to make their visuals very vibrant and vanilla friendly. Things like making the water more tropical, making the sky a little bluer, pixelating the shadows, and disabling some overkill features. However, when it came to visual vibrance, I really had my work cut out for me. This pack came in a perfect condition. Only thing that I had to disable was the integrated reflections. Apart from that, the water looked fabulous, the clouds are fine, but I wish they could be replaced with vanilla ones, shadows were pixelated, and the lighting was good too. Drodi's Blazes enhances the textures of these mobs, along with adding a rare variant that looks like the Wildfire mob. This pack also happened to be working well with fresh animations, even the latest release that we talked about earlier, the one with eye movements and all. Immersive Water is a mod that adds a splash effect to when an entity or an item hits the water. The splash can also be caused with an arrow too. Ripples can be seen when it's raining, and a thick layer of fog will form around the morning. I added this mod to the pack, but disabled everything apart from the splashes. Coupled with Particular, they look remarkable. This pack gives the villagers unique new voices that match their mood and the situation they're in. The voices aren't realistic, rather they're just vanilla humming noises redesigned in different ways. So it was perfectly fit for a vanilla friendly mod pack such as Fresh and Smooth. Drodi's Illagers is a texture pack that overhauls the outfits and the textures of the Pillagers, Vindicators, the Evokers, as well as the Witches. The designs here were top notch. Too many small details were added, and many countless variations have been introduced. It's so much like we're playing a content mod at this point. Bray's 3D bow is a texture pack that signifies the look of the arrow on both the bows and the crossbows. Now they will appear tangible and 3D. This pack is compatible with many of our mods and texture packs, so it fitted nicely on the mod pack. You could also throw in the real arrow tip mod. This way spectral arrows and potion chipped arrows appear appropriately on the bow. My only recommendation for the author is to add an animation where the arrow is flanked forward as player shoots. That'd be cool. This mod adds several different camera shakes and subtle rolls to the game. Your camera will roll when you are moving side to side and looking around, and it will shake when mining and when being near explosions or lightning bolts. Let me know if the effects of this mod were intrusive. If so, I can tweak it down or remove it altogether. Fresh Buckets adds beautiful 3D models on top of fresh animations to all of the buckets. In addition, lava buckets glow at night too. The animations of the buckets are adaptive to your movement, as they can be seen shaking as you jump around. When looking at actions and stuff, we notice that both stand on equal grounds. The only advantage is the fluidity of the water on actions and stuff. But then they don't have emissive lava buckets, so I guess that's a throw. For some reason the animations don't work on the 1.1 1.5 version. So if you want to see it fully, you will need the beta 1.1 1.6 version. But keep an eye out. Once this issue is fixed, I will release a patch on Modrinth and CurseForge. This is a beautiful texture pack that enhances the look of the torches on Minecraft, giving them a nice outline with gratifying flame animations at the top. This pack's beauty was only intensified with Visual Effects Plus, as the torches now look aesthetic and have a realistic glow effect too, much like actions and stuff. I downloaded the Hold My Items port since the original pack isn't yet supportive of said mod, but this should change shortly. This is another texture pack by the same author, this time overhauling the spawn eggs on Minecraft. Every spawn egg will now appear fuller, featuring a beautiful 3D model and even animations in some cases. The only difference is that almost every egg on the Bedrock texture pack has animations, so I hope Weskerson picks up pace on this regard, though they did excellent all around. Next up, I had to improve the sounds since the realistic biomes add-on had plenty of natural sounds, and Actions and Stuff has dedicated new sounds to the inventory amongst other things. The first mod to do the job was Atmosfera. Much like ambient sounds and dynamic surroundings, this one added many different natural sounds, enhancing the audio feel of every biome there is. After that, there is Sounds. Also happened to be a big mod adding different soundtracks, this time to the practical parts of Minecraft. Things like UI sounds for many different items, destroying certain blocks, placing certain blocks, accessing some work tables, gaining effects, writing sounds, and more. Next, there is the Sound Physics Remastered, a widely known mod that needs no introduction. It simply adds echoes to closed spaces on Minecraft, mostly noticeable on the caves. The Sound Physics Perfected does the same thing, only on a ray-traced fashion. Hear this out. I sadly won't be adding that mod to the pack since it bugs other audio mods we haven't sold. Toolbar Sounds is next, and it's exactly that, adding different sounds to when you select certain items, tools, and weapons on your inventory. Hear this out. And the final audio mod I added is Cool Rain. This mod will make you hear different rain sounds based on the surface above your head. I won't let my voice override the sounds, so here are they uninterrupted. Obviously, what I mentioned is only the highlights. There are plenty more audio features for you to enjoy inside the ModPack, so don't miss it out. This texture pack improves the smitten trims. Their design will now look prettier than ever and they may even glow at night. Not all of our shaders support this pack, but Astralix does. And oh boy, this must be the most beautiful footage I've ever seen in my life. On Actions and Stuff, not much advantage can be seen, only that the glowing outlines are not visible on the Bedrock textures. Could be an advantage to Java or to Bedrock. This time it's entirely a matter of preference. I have to declare that as of the time of uploading this video, The 1.21.6 version does not have the emissions on Fyoncle's pack, so try the 1.21.5 if it's still not present on said version. This pack enhances the horse armors and makes them extremely beautiful and quite similar to actions and stuff. The pack covers every armor, from the leather armor to the iron armor to the diamond armor, and my favorite, the golden armor. On the 1.21.9 version of the pack, the author even designed a copper horse armor. As of now, I haven't updated the pack to that version for obvious reasons. But click this heart icon on Modrinth, this way you get notified when I do. Bray's Llamas does a similar thing, only to the Llamas. Now almost all carpets will have a beautiful themed design based on their initial color. Actions and stuff feature similar designs but with less details. Bray hasn't yet finished the pack, but when he does, he's willing to make it compatible with fresh animations. My suggestion for when that time comes is to give the carpets interactive animations, making them move around and react to the jumping of the Llamas. Of course, it's not a necessity, a normal fresh animation support will do for now. Inventory Particles is a mod that fills up your GUI with plenty of particles and animations based on the item you are dragging around. The effects look fascinating and not disruptive or annoying, for me at least, but what about you, friend? Is there a convenient mod or should I disable it? This pack enhances the models of baby animals, giving them a realistic design and making them look cuter. On actions and stuff, we can notice a substantial difference in terms of the sheep and the cows, but for the chicks and the puppies, it is pretty much identical. Fresh flower pots enhance those blocks and give them different new variations based on the flower they contain. They may get bigger if a sapling is contained, or change their very building material if a fungus is planted. There's also an add-on that makes the flower pots rotate randomly, producing a spontaneous, beautiful outlook. On actions and stuff, all pots are the same, and they don't rotate, so I guess they can take some inspiration in this regard. Rotated fancy pots really make a difference. All Piglins Revamped gives those nether dwellers a more detailed appearance. The difference is especially big for the Piglin brutes, with them becoming fatter and holding a larger axe. There are plenty of different variations for both mobs, so coming across a Bastion Remnant, you will see all kinds of shapes and appearances. On actions and stuff, however, the Piglins remain the same as vanilla, so again, some inspiration for the Bedrock community. Just Expressions introduces animated eyes to the game. Those animations adjust your head positions as well as taking damage. Only recently, Actions and Stuff has taken inspiration from this pack and began animating the eyes of the players. If you'd like to know how to get your eyes animated on Java, here's an excellent tutorial by Lions. For Bedrock players, here's another excellent tutorial by Perry Pines. Fancy Door Animations is a client-sided mod that animates the doors on Minecraft. This is an incredible mod, but I noticed a tiny latching issue when you open and close the doors. I hope the author fixes it so I can add it to the pack. Drodi's Villagers overhauls the models of the villagers, giving them plenty of 3D details and adding extra textures to their skin and clothing. I've never seen any other pack does what this pack does. But sadly we can't have it on Fresh and Smooth as of now. It's still outdated and does not support the latest version of Fresh animations. But Drodi is quite active. I'm sure they will cook up an update pretty shortly. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell if you enjoy my content. Also, make sure to click this heart icon on Modrinth or CurseForge. This way you get notified the minute I release a new update or port to Fresh and Smooth. Here is part 1 in case you are interested in 10 more fresh mods and also interested in how it all began. Now I'll see ya in the next one, my friend.